Hi, my name is Matthew Bellisario. Welcome to Epitomy Training. This is the final video on Module 3, and we're going to be covering support today. Tech support is free for all of our active dealers. You can call in or open a ticket online. We recommend that you use the online ticketing system. What this does is it puts you on the email list for tech support, so any new technical documents that you need to know about will be emailed out to you. It also puts a ticket right in the system. If you go here under support, you can go to the ticket system here, or you can go to the ticket system by typing in ticket.epitomy.com. And what this is going to do, it's going to bring you to this home screen here. Then you're going to go here to open a new ticket. You're going to put in your name, your email address, telephone number, select support here, put in your subject, and put in your problem. The tickets will be held open for 48 hours. If they don't hear from you after 48 hours, the ticket will be closed. One of the problems that we have is people don't follow through on these tickets. Not everybody, but there are quite a few people that will call in, open up a ticket, will help them with it, give them some recommendations, and then that's the last we ever hear of them. So we don't know what's going on, whether or not what tech support told them was the problem or if they found something else. So we kindly ask you that if you're going to open up a ticket, please follow through on the ticket. Don't just let it hang. Email us back and say, hey, this is what the problem was, or give us a call after you leave the customer site while you're driving or something, and say, hey, this is what the problem was. Can you please close this ticket? So that tech support can go in there and actually put a closing statement in there on what the problem was and resolve the ticket. You can also respond back by email as well. If after 48 hours we don't hear from you, the ticket will close. But if you do respond to that email, it will reopen the ticket. But we really like to get these tickets resolved as fast as possible. So please, we ask you that you follow through on these tickets. Another point is to be specific when you open these tickets. Don't let the secretary calls you and gives you some description and then you call it to us and you haven't gone to see what the actual problem is. You know how it's very difficult sometimes for the end user to communicate what the problem is. I come from a technical background. I used to put in phone systems. I put in ComDial, Toshiba, Executone, and a lot of times I would get a trouble ticket given to me, and when I got to the site, it was something completely different than what was reported on the ticket. So sometimes these people aren't the most technical people, and so we kindly ask that if you're going to open a ticket, try to be on site when you do it so that you can really accurately give us the information so we can help you troubleshoot it. Otherwise, a lot of times these will go back and forth for days and nothing gets done. A lot of time gets wasted on both sides. So if there's a problem, go on site, find out what the problem is, get back to us in detail. Also, screenshots are a big help. If you're having a problem in the system and you're getting a particular error or something's not taking the programming, send us a screenshot so we can look at it. Another thing you can also do that we often do, the tech support will get in remotely. So make sure that you got port forwarding on port 22 open. Make sure you know what the IP address is and the password is before you call tech support. Test it out, make sure it works. Otherwise, you waste time. You call tech support, you give them this, oh, it's the wrong IP, they can't get in, and it just wastes time. So make sure that that's done. For general support, if you just have a general question that's not related to a particular customer, you just have a question for tech support, just use the general support email, which is ipsupport@epitomy.com. Again, it's ipsupport@epitomy.com. RMAs, you have a 30-day return on all equipment for out-of-box failure. Normally, for any kind of RMA, we just want you to call into tech support. Make sure that everything was troubleshot properly. So when we get the phone back, we put it on all the equipment we get back, we test it ourselves. And there's times where we get phones back and they're not bad. the phone got bricked or something, or there's maybe a problem on the network or something like that, and the phone is not bad. So if you're going to do an RMA, just call in the tech support, take the 2 minutes. If it's a dead phone or something like that, go through it quickly with tech support. That way you can get the RMA, get the issue resolved. A couple of good websites. I want to go over just a couple of problems, common problems that we have for the new guys that are coming from the TDM side. And I used to put in a lot of TDM systems. On those systems, they're digital. You plug them in. They come right up very fast. On the IPPBXs, remember, these phones have firmware in them, and they have to download all this information from the PBX, all the programming information. So when you're first turning up a system, you got 30 or 40 phones, all those phones have to download all this information. Please be patient, especially on your first system. It just takes a little longer than what you may expect. You don't want to. We've had a lot of cases where people just get impatient. They unplug the phone and plug it back in and unplug it. It's in the middle of downloading. It bricks the phone. It locks it up. So be patient, especially on your first system. Be patient. See how long it takes. Make sure all the phones download. And after all the phones are finished, then start taking a look and troubleshooting. And they all don't come up at the exact same time either. So certain phones may come up a little quicker than other ones, so don't assume just because one phone is up and running that everything else should be up and running as well. Give it a few minutes, let everything sync up, let all the downloads take place, and get the phones up and running. If you do have problems with phones, the first thing we recommend is to default and reprovision the phone. So if you're troubleshooting a phone, it's doing some weird things, default it and reprovision it, because when you call the tech support, they're probably more than likely going to ask you to do that. Another thing is when the phones come, the default audio settings aren't necessarily going to be ideal, depending on where the phone is, what they're using it for. The speakerphone especially, you don't want the volume blasting on the speakerphone. Picks up a lot of background noise. So play around with the audio settings, get those set correctly in the portal, and save those settings so that the phones are optimally set for the audio settings. Quality of service. We like the Netgear switches that you can get in and manage. You set up the quality of service there to match the IPitomy PBX. Very important. So if you're starting off with your first systems, IPPBXs, you may want to pick up the Netgear managed switch. They're very easy to program, very easy to get in, match your quality of service settings. Analog lines, sandman.com. Save this. This is a great website. They have a lot of technical bulletins. For example, this technical bulletin here, telephone line diagnostic table. You still have to troubleshoot lines, analog lines, just like in the old days. Even if you have an IPitomy system with a line card or a gateway, you want to make sure on hook, off hook DC voltages, your loop current, ring voltage. You want to make sure that all these fall within specs. Even if they're coming off an Adtran box or whatever, they still have to have the same voltages. And a lot of times those boxes might not be set up correctly, and it'll cause problems on the phone system. So be aware of that, sandman.com. Another great tool, Wireshark. Wireshark is great for troubleshooting, for doing packet captures. Use this website, get on, learn the tool. This will be one of your best friends. On the router side, ddwrt.com. Use this website. You want to get on here and find out if your router is supported. What this is a software that you can download on a router, and it makes it very easy. It turns basically inexpensive router into an expensive router. So a lot of cool stuff on here. There's support, firmware questions, support pages. You can actually get on here and search and make sure that the router is supported on this website. So make use of it. Learn your way around it. Installing it. Instructions here on how to install the DDWRT software onto the router. Choosing the firmware. Is your router supported? You can go here, check the router database, go in here and type in the router that you have and make sure it's supported. This is extremely important when you're going to have a voice over IP system, that you have a router that can handle the traffic for the voice over IP. Well, that's all I have for the tech support. Just to recap, when you're opening a ticket, go on the website, open up the ticket, be specific, use screenshots. Also on the, I know I've mentioned the IPitomy Wiki a lot now. You're probably getting tired of hearing me talk about it. But follow all the steps in the wiki too. We have people that call in and they just like skip step 3 because they didn't think it needed to be done, or they didn't understand it, or whatever. If you're going through the documentation and a step doesn't make sense to you, call us up. It takes 30 seconds usually to get through tech support and say, hey, I'm on step 3 of this particular thing. It just doesn't make sense to me. These guys will take care of you. And if there's something we can make clearer on the website, we can do that. We can fix it and make it clear for other people. So feel free to call in if you have a problem like that, and then just be specific about what it is. We just have people sometimes that just skip over the steps, and when they call tech support walks them back through the steps, and there's just one they left out, or they didn't understand it, or thought it was already done, or whatever it was. So I just want to reiterate that. Use the wiki and follow the steps in the wiki. Thank you very much for attending this 3rd module of IPitomy training. I hope that it was of great help to you, and we all at IPitomy Communications look forward to working with you in the future.